Oh, hello. Can you hear me? Oh, I think that's the first time that's ever happened. That I've gone mute. Thank you, Spyrodent Veluxus. Thank you. I've just been ranting for the last few minutes, not thinking that I was. Yeah. Well, there you go. The beauties of YouTube live streaming and going live. Not being able to rewatch it as I would a video. Thank you for pointing that out. Hopefully, you should be able to hear me now. I've just fixed up that audio there. Well, there you go. That's quite funny. Anyway, what I was talking about. I was talking about how Game Week 30 went, which is pretty poor. I took out Son and I took out Jimenez for Kane and for Barnes. So I was actually +1 on that move. But I lost the free transfer on that, which I was fine with. And I wanted Kane long term. Sweet. Thank you so much, Spy, for calling that out. Cheers, mate. That would have been, imagine if I was talking for half an hour, complete muted. That would have been average. But yeah, so my team for 31, what I was getting at before, while I was muted, I'm not quite sure if I'm wanting to free hit 33 or 36. So in terms of chip strategy, I've got one chip left, which is a one free hit. 36 is probably the better one, look like optically, in terms of the bigger teams are going to have doubles. City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham. We should think that they're going to have doubles, and we'll have a lot clearer picture of where teams stand in terms of the league, European fixtures, things like that as well. So for that reason, I thought keeping it until 36 might be a bit better, and I can kind of go through 33. So bringing in like Weghorst this week just kind of felt like a bit of a hedge, because he's got the 31 double, 33 double, might have a double in 34 or 35, and then he also has Norwich in game week 32. So that was my main rationale for going with Weghorst. Now the actual moves that we're taking out Lacazette for Weghorst, and then I've taken out Romain Saiss for Reece James. So in terms of taking out Lacazette, main reason for that was I think I kind of just want to get into putting more money into midfield and defense. Probably would have heard a lot of podcasters, content creators talking about this. And the main reason is that a lot of the best FPL assets, it seems, this year, and probably what looks like for the run-in, are all defenders. You've got Trent, Reece James, Robertson, Cancelo, and then you've got cheap options like Doherty, Ben White. So you want to go like big at the back, basically. And the forwards, apart from Kane, there's no one really standing out. So part of the reasoning was, I think, in terms of Arsenal, I'd rather have a Ben White or a Martinelli as my third Arsenal option, and they're a lot cheaper than Lacazette. So even though Lacazette's done okay recently, he's not quite offering the value at 8 mil. So I decided to take him out for Weghorst. And then what I did with those extra funds was, I actually had enough in the bank to go from Saiss to Cancelo, but I decided to go to Reece James. So I know that's a big debate, and I hope maybe there's a few people who are watching or tune in a little bit later, like Reece James versus Cancelo. I think Cancelo is more likely to play game week 31, and there's a bigger push for City to want to play their best players just because of how tight the league is versus, say, Chelsea. The reason, though, I went with Reece James is I still think there potentially could be some rotation with Manchester City. And if I'm looking at the next 2 weeks, Reece James has got Brentford, and then he's got Southampton, and then Arsenal in 33. Whereas Cancelo, he has Burnley, Liverpool, and then Brighton. If that Liverpool fixture wasn't there for City, say if it was like another decent fixture, I probably would have gone Cancelo. It's just that Liverpool fixture just really kind of turned me off. And look, Reece James, if any of you guys are new to the channel who are watching, I absolutely love Reece James. There's complete emotional bias in this decision to get Reece James because I've managed to luck out with him so much this year. I got all of his hauls early in the year. I got his 18 points just recently against Burnley, I think it was. So yeah, Reece James for me. When I read Tuchel's comments that he said, yeah, he's ready to go, he's in the squad. Now the in the squad part, don't get me wrong, that did definitely worry me a little bit. But part of me is thinking that hopefully there's just 60, 70 minutes. We just need 70 minutes of Reece James against Brentford. I feel like the upside is there. We know how good the upside is. And so I've got a bit of a plan to get Cancelo back in the future. In terms of tinkering around, I actually dabbled with the thought of getting both Cancelo and Reece James. So imagine Weghorst was Lacazette. I actually considered potentially just killing that position, going to a Gelhardt, super cheap. And then what I would have been able to do was get Cancelo as well for Kilman. And then my backline would have been amazing, I think. That's, apart from Doherty as well, is a great option. I think my backline would have been set. But the reason I didn't go for it was just because I feel like I didn't need to force it, and I didn't mind the coverage that Weghorst provided. And so that's kind of the main reason why I went for Reece James over Cancelo. I just think over the next two, the upside is there. Obviously, Cancelo's got the upside as well. Both Cancelo and Reece James are predicted to actually start in game week 31. So I thought if they're both going to start 31, even if Reece James misses 32, Cancelo's got Liverpool, and then 33, neither of them have a double. So I thought I'll just go for Reece James this week, and I'll try to get a plan for maybe Cancelo in the future. I know more people I think will go with Cancelo this week. I just kind of had a feeling that Reece James might potentially start. If he gets benched, look, it's not ideal, but that's kind of the risk that you take, especially when he's coming off an injury. But I'm just hoping they kind of need, look, even though all these teams have a lot of games to be played, they need to field, these players. The players are just going to have to play, often. The difference with Chelsea and City is that they've got the squad to manage it. Inspire, you're saying with your team, I don't think you need to free hit 33. Yeah, so let me get into my kind of transfer plans, what I'm thinking of for the next few weeks. So yeah, I'm not thinking of doing the free hit 33 as I mentioned. So this is on FPL.team. So this is the two moves that I did. I took out Lacazette for Weghorst, and I took out Saiss for Reece James. So subbed in Kilman. And one decision I'm actually thinking of is, do I play Barnes or do I play Doherty? So in terms of predicted points, I think Doherty just comes out on top because I think it's the home fixture. Away to United doesn't feel as good for Barnes, but he is an attacker. So I'm not 100% locked into that decision. But I think I will probably play Doherty over Barnes, just given that it's a tougher away fixture. So that's my team as it stands for 31. So those are the two moves that I made. I've got about 1.3 mil in the bank there. Now, I know there's a good chance that Ramsdale doesn't play, but Dubravka looks like he's going to play. So I'll just cop it. I've got Spurs attackers against my goalkeeper. It's not ideal. But Dubravka away to Spurs. Look, Newcastle's defense hasn't been that bad recently. So if Ramsdale's out, I'll just have to cop, maybe Dubravka not doing ideal this week. But that's my plan at the moment for 31. Or I don't think I'm going to be doing any extra moves. That's basically my team. And then next week, my plan is to roll 32. I haven't been rolling a transfer that much recently. I've been taking a lot of hits, but I do think 32 I can, especially to attack 33 if I want to. So I think the team is also well set up in the sense that, Liverpool and Liverpool and City versus each other. So upside is potentially capped in that week. I'd probably play, Barnes over, say, maybe a Doherty this week. And that would be my team for 32. And I look at it there, I'd probably captain Kane. I don't think I'd captain Salah against Man City. And the rest of the attackers look fine, in my opinion. There's no doubles to speak of in 32, so I don't feel like there's any necessary moves I need to make. So that would be the plan for 32. 33 now is where things get interesting, because obviously it's our kind of bigger double game week. Now, I actually had some benching dilemmas. That was definitely one thing I noticed. So Rafinha obviously has a blank, so he could be the first one to drop out for like a Broya. And look, I'd probably captain... This is the issue I have. I don't have any kind of easy avenue to a United asset that I would like. Like, I'd prefer Bruno to Ronaldo, but it would involve taking out Salah. And we know what Salah did last time against Manchester United, and they're playing at home. Generally, they do better at home as well, Liverpool. So my thoughts for 33 were probably taking out Rafinha, just because after that blank, he's got Man City, Arsenal, and Crystal Palace. It feels like a very easy time to get rid of him. So this is my plan to get back on the third Arsenal player, and I'm thinking Martinelli. I just like the price. He's very direct, good goal threat, and I'd probably bench him for, say, Kulusevski potentially. So that's only just taking one move, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 doublers in 33, and I'm still maintaining a lot of the big hitters from the premium teams like James, Trent, Robbo, Salah, Kane, for example. Now, if I really did want a Manchester United option, the easiest avenue would be Kane out for Ronaldo. So that is something I've toyed with, doing that, and I could captain Ronaldo. I need to decide at that point in time, if that's worth it, if I really feel like captaining Ronaldo. I mean, one of the fixtures is Liverpool, which is not ideal, but he does have Norwich at home, so he could do really well there. And so that's for free. And then so 34, I won't plan any further than 34, just because then the double game week picture isn't quite solid in our mind yet. what I could do then, I could just do Ronaldo straight back to Harry Kane, because Kane's the one I'm going to want long term, and he's got Brentford that week. I'd bring back in Kulusevski probably for Martinelli. Doherty probably comes in for, say, Weghorst or Borja. And I could even play Martinelli, to be honest, over Weghorst. But I think 34, potentially, there could be the double for like a Villa, potentially, or even 35. So I don't mind going into this week with 2.4 mil in the bank. Maybe I could do like a Barnes to a Coutinho, potentially. That could be something I could do. But that's my kind of rough transfer plan at the moment, and I'll just save the free hit for game week 36. So I'll just reset. Actually, I'll just go back to my team. But yeah, that's my thought process at the moment. Oh, sorry. What I should do. Oh, damn it. I already pressed reset. Basically, though, what I was going to show is in game week 34, I would get back Cancelo. So, should I run the whole scenario again? I'll quickly run that scenario again just to show you my route back to Cancelo, because I will want Cancelo at some point. Okay, I should have pressed save, huh? So get Weghorst, size for James. I'm going to want James long term as well. That's why I felt, okay, even if he gets a rest, look, I want him long term. I love that guy so much for FPL. He's wanted it in my team. So our captain. All right, next. We roll in game week 32. Game week 33, potentially we do Kane to Ronaldo. And we do Rafinha to, say, like a Martinelli. Or even a Maddison. I've got money to do Maddison there. And then I would play my doublers. Broya in for, say, like maybe a Doherty. So that would be game week 33. Now game week 34, Kilman would just be straight away going out for Cancelo, because you're going to want Cancelo here. You're going to want Cancelo potentially earlier as well. But Watford, Leeds, Newcastle, West Ham, Villa, especially if the title race is still on, you're going to want Cancelo. So that would be how I'd get back to Cancelo in 34. I'd bench him. I'd bench Weghorst, for Cancelo. I'll definitely play Kulusevski for Martinelli and Doherty. And then, I'd probably do Ronaldo out for Kane. The money is a bit tight, 0.3, so maybe needs an additional hit, but we'll deal with that at the time. But yeah, so then that's the aim, because especially game week 34 is going to be a week where I think a lot of people will play the wild card. So I'm thinking if 34, I can get to a team that looks, big at the back. It looks like there's potential for, it's matching a lot of the wildcard teams. I've got like a Harvey Barnes, etc. I'm fine with that. So that's my rough plan at the moment until game week 34. That's how I'll get back Cancelo, and hopefully he doesn't punish me too much. There's a few people in the chat. Thank you everyone for joining. Let me answer that. Hey Mitchell, what's up? One of my biggest supporters. Love to see every time we do a stream. Trent or Rudiger out for Cancelo? Jeez. So I have a feeling that Trent won't play. It sounds like, he's done training. He's a chance for Watford, but it's tight. Look, I would ideally try to wait for team news, because Liverpool, they do tend to get early team news before deadline. And Mitchell, you saw late riser do Rudiger to Cancelo. Look, Rudiger's a fine option, obviously, and the fixtures for Chelsea are insane. Just got they've got Brentford at home. Like, Brentford don't look like an amazing attacking team, so you could see a good chance of a clean sheet there. Then a Southampton, Arsenal, West Ham, just long term, and they've got Leicester and Leeds to get rearranged as well. So late riser's reasoning for that was he kind of used the likes of Trent, Robertson, James, Cancelo as like tier 1, and Rudiger's probably a tier below. So his thinking was he doesn't mind doing that kind of a switch. I'm not as confident doing Rudiger to Cancelo. Let me know who your other defenders are. Is there anyone else potentially we could take out for Cancelo? Because honestly, with Trent, I would only sell, I think, if you've got a wild card, because it's so hard to get him back then, especially if you use his money elsewhere in your team. And the problem is that with Liverpool, the run is amazing for the end of the season. After Man City and United, you could argue, it's Everton, Newcastle, Spurs, Southampton, Wolves, with Villa to rearrange as well. You're going to want Trent. And I think a double up of Trent and Robertson is the ideal way to go. So honestly, out of Trent or Rudiger to Cancelo, hopefully your bench is strong. I would take out Rudiger, in all honesty, because I think like out of the Chelsea defenders, you're going to want Reece James, but like out of Liverpool, Trent and Robbo who you're going to want. Okay, you have Robbo, Trent, Rudiger, and Dyer. Okay, I mean Dyer's probably a cheap option, so I'm not going to say do Dyer to Cancelo. That's like a 3 million difference, and obviously you probably would have tried to do that if you could. You already have Robbo, which I think is good. It makes it a little bit easier to drop Trent, but Robbo, Trent, and Cancelo would be nice. I think if you've got to find first sub, like say for example, if Dyer is your first sub at home to Newcastle, he's fine to come in there. Yeah, that's true. Actually, Tom makes a good point. If you're not going to get Cancelo in this week, or you could just wait till 33 because he does have Liverpool in 32. Now, obviously, we know how good Cancelo is, but there's a good chance that Liverpool score in that game. So, you know, how big is the upside there? Rudiger is probably going to give you like a 6-6. Cancelo might give you like a 12-2. So even then, Cancelo still might outscore Rudiger. And yeah, it really depends on chips as well. If you've got a wildcard left, I think that's fine to drop Trent for Cancelo. Or you can do Rudiger to Cancelo, but I don't think you necessarily have to do that this week. Now, like for me, I probably didn't have to do it either, taking out Saiss for Reece James, but I'm not sure if I'm going to free hit 33, so it felt easy taking out my Wolves players, and Reece James is like, my boy, I love Reece James, so he was definitely staying. Tom, let's see, Jimenez to Gelhardt and White to James, no wildcard. If that's Ben White, I'd be keen to keep him because he's got like Arsenal have got good fixtures. Like, don't get me wrong, taking out Lacazette, I wasn't like, 100%, I'm definitely going to do that. Sorry, that's Liverpool, my bad. Like Crystal Palace, Brighton, then the double, United, West Ham, Leeds, Newcastle, Everton. I think Ben White is a great option. I would try to hold Ben White if you could. Let me know if you've got any other defenders potentially. Oh, okay, you've got Rudiger as well, and you were going to wait until after the Liverpool game to bring Cancelo in. I think it's okay to wait on Cancelo. I've kind of done that myself by going with Reece James instead of Cancelo. I know the popular thing on Twitter was go for Cancelo this week because it's the Burnley fixture. He might have a slightly better chance of starting than say a Reece James. But for me, James has got better underlying stats than Cancelo, honestly, for attacking numbers. So I'm just hoping if James starts, I think he's got a better chance in my eyes of getting like a bigger haul than say a Cancelo does. And yeah, obviously Pep Roulette, we're not quite sure. Tuchel, Tombola, whatever they call it as well with the rotation. So it's really hard. Like I've pulled the trigger just because I know I'm going to want James long term. Like Jimenez to Gelhardt is fine. I think killing that position, no wild card, so that's fine. But yeah, Ben White. I think Ben White's probably the best 4.5 defender to keep. So I would be tempted to keep Ben White. I mean, it's a good fixture this week as well. It's Crystal Palace away. Although I would predict that Palace would score. If White's your only way to get to Reece James, then yeah, I would say do it because Reece James is another level. But yeah, so let me know as well what you guys think about benching Barnes for Doherty. That's kind of the main thing at the moment. If I have a quick look at predicted points for this week on FPL Review. So Barnes is predicted to get 3.2 in Game Week 31. Doherty, let's have a quick look. Doherty's 4.2. Interesting. Okay, yeah, of course. So, oopsie. So you guys can't quite see that, I think. So my FPL Review, suggested optimized team has Doherty in my starting lineup because it's predicting him for 4.2 points versus Barnes 3.2. There could be a minutes thing about that as well. So yeah, I might stick with the playing Doherty over Harvey Barnes. I generally do favour the attackers though. Manchester United aren't the best defence. Yeah, I might need to give that a little bit more thought. Your current backline is Trent, Robbo, Doherty, White, and Rudiger. Also planning to free hit 33. Okay, so I guess yeah, if you're free hitting 33, losing the Arsenal player is fine because then you can get him back in 33. Yeah, Doherty. Doherty doesn't have the double in 33 though. To be honest, he does have the upside compared to say a Ben White, and the fixtures are really good as well. That's a tough one. Yeah. I mean, do you have like, look, I don't know if I should be advocating like someone like a Weghorst that much as well. Could you do like a Jimenez to a Weghorst and then like a Rudiger to Cancelo? Although we kind of discussed that even Rudiger to Cancelo is not an ideal move, but I think it makes your defense look stronger in the sense of you've got the three, you got like Trent, Robbo, Rudiger, and then nice cheap options in Ben White, Doherty, and then you can upgrade one of those two in 34 to maybe like a Reece James. Shruti, great work, buddy. Love your work. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks, guys, for the support. And if you are liking the stream, give it a thumbs up as well. And yeah, keep firing your questions in as well. You got Ramsdale. Look, I think my top three Arsenal picks would be Saka, Ramsdale, and then Ben White / Martinelli. So I don't think having both Ramsdale and Ben White's a bad thing, to be honest. I mean, Ramsdale's a chance of not playing this week, so you might want to keep the Arsenal coverage in defence. But yeah, that is a tough one. The whole getting in Cancelo for like Rudiger, I'm thinking about it more. I'm thinking no, just because Rudiger, you'd say, is probably a better chance of starting than Cancelo. Although if you ask me, do I think Cancelo starts? I'd probably say he does start. He's shown like all season that he can play like with short turnarounds, and he's like nailed on in the City backline. So I wouldn't let that stop me from going from Rudiger to Cancelo. Like Rudiger's fine. He just still boring. Like you want Reece James, you want your fullbacks, right? So Ben White can give you the same as Rudiger, maybe slightly less points, and it's like $1.5 million cheaper. So I think structurally maybe it is better to go Rudiger to Cancelo. I know I didn't really answer your question, Tom or Mitchell. I really apologize. It is a tough one, but yeah, my thoughts are, I think the ideal back five, I think, for the rest of the season is Trent, Robbo, Cancelo, James, and then Ben White. Ben White or Doherty, one of those two, maybe Ben White. I think Arsenal's defense is a little bit better than Tottenham. So that's my ideal back five. So I think if you can do like a Rudiger to Cancelo to get closer to that, then like I think long term, it's probably the right call. Shahid, Ramsdale to Pope and Fraser to Martinelli on a wild card. Yeah, I think if you're on a wild card, I wouldn't keep Ramsdale just because of the fact that he might not play this week. Pope's got a double this week, got a double 33, could be doubling again at 34, 35. So just on fixtures alone, I think going Pope over Ramsdale is probably fine. You could even consider someone like Schmeichel. You know, he should have a lot of fixtures for the back end of the season. But yeah, I think Pope over Ramsdale on a wild card is probably fine. And yeah, Martinelli I think would be probably in a wild card. I haven't thought about wild carding at all, but since we've got the time, let me think about. It also depends if you want to bench boost or not. Now, if you wanted to bench boost, say in game week 33, if you're wild carding this week, then I'd probably have Pope and say Dubravka, just because Dubravka also has the double in 33. And the double for Newcastle of Leicester and Crystal Palace is not that bad in 33. In terms of defenders, yeah, I'd probably get my boys of Cancelo. Oh, sorry, a bit of lag on my end. And say like a Ben White. This is very, very quickly thought out wildcard. So honestly, if I was on a wildcard, I think I'd also get like Havertz. I think having that kind of 8 million midfielder that not many people have will be a nice kind of differential. I probably wouldn't have Broja. Actually, that's the thing with the wild card. Yeah, if you are bench boosting in 33, then maybe I would keep Broja. He should also have the double. I'd keep Kane. The thing with having that 8 million midfielder is that you can go to say like a Sancho potentially. You've got some flexibility. Rafinha wouldn't be on my wildcard. He blanks in 33, so he definitely wouldn't be in a wildcard draft. So maybe that spot we can make like a Havertz spot. I think Havertz he's the number one choice for Chelsea, and Chelsea's fixtures are insane. Salah's definitely on a wildcard. I think Kulusevski could stay on the wildcard as well. Okay, but we need to make 3 million from somewhere. That's going to be tough, hey? Maybe you just have a 4.5. So say instead of Barnes and Kulusevski could swap around. So say, do Everton double in 33? I'm not 100% sure. I can't quite remember. They don't, but they do have Leicester at home, so it's not a bad fixture. So maybe you could just get in someone like a Gordon, someone who's cheap. You still need to make 1.1 million. So maybe you do get Martinelli in that case instead of Kulusevski. That could be the way that you do that. So there's not a lot of thought gone into this. But I'm 0.2 off, which is annoying. Hopefully someone who's got slightly better team value than me might be able to afford this. Maybe instead of Pope, you can get Schmeichel, for example. Because he has a double in 33, doesn't he? Leicester have a double in 33. So for my own sake, if I wanted to get the budget, maybe I get Schmeichel instead of Pope. And that would be maybe a rough kind of wildcard draft I would do. If you're looking to bench boost in game week 33, you've got, in my opinion, the best defense that you can go for. The back five, you've got your 4 fullbacks. Both your goalkeepers will double in 33. Your midfield, you'll have Saka and Martinelli double in 33. Broja and Weghorst will double in 33 as well. You've got the option to go Kane to Ronaldo if you want in game week 33 as well, for captaincy purpose. And I think that Havertz spot is just a nice differential, I think, that you can go for on a wildcard that not many people can go for as well. So that's a very quickly built wildcard team. But yeah, if I was wildcarding this week, that's probably what I'd go for. Something like that. It does feel strange only having the one Spurs player. Like, you could keep Kulusevski, to be honest, instead of, say, Martinelli. I mean, look, instead of Havertz, you could just keep Kulusevski, because I think he is great value. And then you could just take out Schmeichel again for Pope. And just keep that money in the bank. There's nothing wrong with having a bit of money in the bank on a wild card. I think there's enough value out there. I mean, maybe Gordon at 6.1. Is there someone I haven't thought about who doubles in, say, 33 on a bench boost who you could consider? Gordon might be good for this week wildcard just because he does have the double this week. So I'll keep him in there. But again, I mentioned I haven't fully thought out this wildcard. But to me, that's kind of a wildcard that I'd go for this week. If you're looking to bench boost in 33. If you weren't bench boosting in 33, I'd probably kill Broja to like a complete cheapie. So say someone like a Gelhardt. I'd probably still keep someone like Dubravka. He's pretty cheap. To be honest, there's not a lot that I'd change in that team, except maybe try to fit in Havertz again instead of, say, like Gordon, or maybe I keep someone like Harvey Barnes, but don't think there's too much difference, to be honest. TJ, bench one of Maddison, Gabriel, or Ben Davies. Ben Davies has got Newcastle at home. Maddison's got Manchester United away. Gabriel's got Crystal Palace away. If you're only benching one, I'd probably bench Ben Davies, I think. Maddison's an attacker, so he can always do well. And then I think Gabriel, I think Arsenal are a better defense compared to Tottenham. So I think Newcastle have been pretty good recently as well. So yeah, I'd probably bench one of them. Or Antonio. Ooh. No, Antonio's got Everton, don't they? I don't think I'd be benching Antonio against Everton. No, I think I'd bench Ben Davies. He's a cheap defender. I don't know necessarily if Tottenham will keep a clean sheet in that one. But yeah, guys, this is my team at the moment. Oh yeah, and so I am benching Harvey Barnes at the moment. So hopefully that helps you with the decision as well, TJ. But yeah, that's my team at the moment. I've got a bit of a plan. I know plans don't seem to work, especially this season. I've taken more hits than I would normally do in a normal season. It's just that kind of season though, isn't it? Like, if I look at my game week history, the start of the season was fine. Like, there wasn't that many -4s taken. There was a 1 in game week 4, 1 in 7, 1 in game week 10. And then this was game week 17 was just when the insanity happened with all those postponements. So I took 7 game weeks in a row of taking hits where one of them was a -8. Like, that was such an annoying part of the season. And then again, I had a bit of a nice spell where I wasn't, but that's because I was using all of my chips. I did the game week 26 wildcard, 27 free hit, 28 bench boost, 29 triple captain. But then I'm back to taking the hits again. And so the rank's gone down a little bit, but look, I'm in the top 10k, which I'm happy with. I've got one free hit left, so hopefully my goal is to stay in the top 10k this season. Obviously, I mean, look, I'm at 6.6k. If I can get to like top 5,000 finish, I'd be very happy with that. But I know that I'm up against a few players who do have a lot of chips left. So realistically, I'm hoping if I can just stay in the top 10k, especially because last season was so good. I finished 634, so I'm hoping, a 634 finish and then top 10k. It would be nice to have back-to-back, like 2 really good seasons. But that's the goal for the end of the season. But anyway, we still got 8 weeks to think about. Let's just get away. Let's just see how Game Week 31 goes to start off with. Mark. Okay, I'm guessing this is a wildcard team. Pope, James, Rudiger, Cancelo, Robbo. So no Trent. Okay, interesting. Kulusevski, Saka, Martinelli, Salah, Havertz. Yep, I really like that midfield. That's a really strong midfield. Kane, and then you've got Ramsdale, Matip, Cucho, and Richardson. Okay, so you've got Matip instead of TAA. And you don't have a bench boost, so you don't need the bench boost. So yeah, okay. Having the cheap strikers of Cucho and Richardson is not a bad idea, actually. I don't think Watford actually have that bad fixtures moving forward. That's an interesting shout. So Matip, yeah, honestly, Matip is great value. He's been really good so far, and he's been basically nailed on as well. Yeah, no, I don't mind that team, actually. I like that midfield a lot. Instead of Rudiger, though, I guess you can afford it because you've got Matip. I don't know. Personally, I would still try to have Trent on a wild card. It's so hard because he might not play this week, and then he's got City. And being in a wild card, you can set up your team to try get him back later if you need to as well. So no, overall, I think that's a pretty good team. I like the fact that you've gone cheap in the forwards apart from Kane. I really like that midfield. I think having Havertz is nice. I really like that pick. You can maybe go cheaper with your 2 goalkeepers because you have already used the bench boost. So maybe you can just go Pope and like Dubravka potentially. And then you can have Saka, Martinelli, and maybe instead of, say, like a Rudiger, maybe you can have like a Ben White. Maybe that money can be used to bump up Matip. But anyway, I think overall it's a pretty solid team though. There's a couple of things that I might personally change, but I'm very fixated to having the likes of, say, a Trent. But on a wildcard, I can see why you'd play it a little bit differently. So now, bench 2 out of Ward-Prowse, Kulu, Saiss, Cody, Broja, and Lacazette. Jesus, you must have a strong team. That's a lot of players to be thinking about benching. Let's see. So I play Kulusevski. To be honest, I would just bench Saiss and Cody. Like, it's Villa at home, but they've lost Neves. They haven't been that good defensively, underlying stats-wise. Ward-Prowse has got Leeds. Yeah, I would bench Saiss and Cody. I would just bench those 2 guys. Mark, Trent is coming back in game week 33. Cool. If you've got a plan to get back Trent in 33, I like it. Because as I showed earlier, the Liverpool fixtures from 33 get really good. So, no, if you've got a plan to get back to him, I think it's a good wildcard team. Jimenez and Trent to Kane and Matip. Ooh, if you don't have Kane could be the most captain player in 32. Ooh. The fact that you're getting Kane in, I really like. And Matip could be good value. Don't mind that. Yeah, I don't mind that, actually. It's scary, though. Imagine if Trent plays against Watford and you don't have him. That's like, it looks like a 15-pointer or something like that, doesn't it? But I think the fact that you're getting Kane, though, does help a lot. So I think that makes it a little bit more palatable in my eyes. TJ, is wildcard 34, bench boost 36, free hit 37 a good strategy? Yeah, so maybe I can quickly show it. So I've got some fixtures up here as well. So this is from Lego Mane. Hopefully you guys can see that. Give me 1 second. Okay. Also, let me know if you guys can still hear me. I had to change scenes on OBS. But yeah, looking at fixtures. In terms of your strategy, I think wildcard 34 is a great move just because you can set up for 36 bench boost. And looking at the 36 picture, it looks like potential doubles for Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester, Spurs, Arsenal, City. It's such a big double game week. I think it's a good strategy to do wildcard 34, bench boost 36. Now, 37 might not be the most appealing game week to free hit unless there is a chance that Man City, if you see the top row, the West Ham fixture has been stretched across both 36 and 37. There's a chance that it could move into 37. like if the City double was in 37, that would make a free hit 37 much more appealing, because then you can load up on 3 City, and you've got a better understanding of, like, at that point in time, which ones you might want to target. So yeah, I think if you're not set on free hit 33, don't have to do it. You know, wildcard bench boost 34, 36 is good. I mean, look, you could even potentially bench boost 33, because there's enough cheap assets in 33. For example, like Newcastle, Leicester players aren't too expensive. Arsenal, like Saka, Martinelli, not that expensive either. Southampton are pretty cheap. If you can, based on your current team, if you can plan for a bench boost 33 and then wildcard out of that, that could be really good. And that means you could even just wildcard out in 34 and then free hit 36. And then that could be a chip strategy as well. But your chip strategy that you've said there is not a bad one, that's for sure. And look, even if you don't use your free hit in 37, Game Week 38 has a lot of good fixtures for a lot of the big teams. So there's even scope to use it in 38. So for example, Man City have got Villa, Liverpool have Wolves, Chelsea have Watford, Leicester have Southampton, Arsenal have Everton, Tottenham, where's Tottenham? Who do they have? Norwich, like 38 is a good week to even free hit if you just want to save it until then, if you just don't want to play it anywhere else, because there's a lot of teams that you can target there as well. So yeah, I think your strategy is fine. That's kind of also why I'm thinking maybe holding off that free hit for 36, just because I feel like I can build for 33 just fine, and then I can either use it in 36, maybe I can take a chance in 37 or even 38. I don't think there's anything wrong with holding on to that other free hit. All right, let me just quickly get back to my team. Cool. Seeing it, Trent isn't starting today. Yes, we don't know. Like my thinking is that he won't, just because of the amount of fixtures they've got coming up. Because Klopp's comments were, it could be tight for tomorrow, i.e. the Watford fixture, but here's a chance. Like for myself, that was enough of a reason just to, like, I'm going to start him and hope that he plays, obviously. And if he doesn't, I've got someone like Harvey Barnes coming off the bench. And then if James doesn't start, I've got Broya coming off the bench as well. So hopefully I've got enough bench depth. But yeah, Trent is a bit of an iffy one. TJ, because I've wildcarded, I have a lot of deadwood on the bench, like Dennis. Because you have wildcarded, you have a lot of deadwood on the bench, like Dennis. Oh, sorry. Does that mean because you haven't wildcarded yet, you've got like bench deadwood from like the previous wildcard from when you're all making changes? Potentially. Yeah, no, I think your strategy that you mentioned though was fine. Cody or White, whom to bench? I'd bench Cody. I trust Arsenal defense much more. Even though Palace I think will score, I think Villa will score as well. So I would just bench Cody, in my opinion. Okay, we're going on for 45 minutes. I'm not sure how much longer I can actually go for. I'm not sure if I can get all the way to deadline, guys. But hopefully you did find that useful. I'll stay around for maybe another couple of minutes for any last questions. But yeah, I won't be able to stream all the way to deadline. I've got something coming up actually at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to have to head off soon as well. Oh, TJ, you meant you haven't wildcarded yet. That's what I guessed. Because you haven't wildcarded yet, you've got a lot of players from like previous old double game weeks, like that bloody Watford, Norwich, Burnley one. No, fair enough. So that's probably why you can't bench boost, I guess, in 33. But no, I think your strategy is good. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking for the moment. I think I will stick with playing Doherty, just because he has got good attacking upside, and it's a better fixture than, say, a Barnes. So I'll play Doherty. I think I'll roll out with this team. But yeah, that's my team for 31. It's hopefully, we're at the back end of the season. I've used a lot of my chips. I only got the one free hit left, but hopefully that means I can just kind of stay in the, top 10,000. I'm very jealous of you guys, like TJ talking about wildcard 34, bench boost 36, free hit 37. I have no such luxuries. But look, I'm happy enough with where I am. I think using the chips has helped definitely get me to where I am rank-wise. Just hopeful that I can kind of stay here for the rest of the season. God, I hope Reece James plays. I'm not sure how I'm going to be able to show it so easily, but Reece James is my hero. Actually, you know what? I will show you guys, just because if anyone else is wondering why I bought Reece James over Cancelo. So, Game Week 28, Reece James, 36 points as captain. Lovely, lovely stuff. When I wildcarded in Game Week 8, I think it was, he got benched. But the week after, he got 13 points. The week after that, he got 21 points. The week after that, he got 7 points. The week after that, he got 12 points. This guy has been the hero of my season. That is why I have an affinity to go for Reece James. That's why I went for him over Cancelo. Yeah, hopefully he starts. God, if he starts and if he gets any kind of an attacking return or clean sheet, guys, follow me on Twitter. My handle is just below my face there. You're going to see a lot of Reece James love. So if you want to see that, follow me on Twitter, and fingers crossed he gets some attacking returns and gets a big haul. If you don't have Reece James and you have FOMO and he does well, don't follow me on Twitter because I'm going to be very gloating. But look, I'm going to be scared of Cancelo. So if you own Cancelo and he does well, look, I'll still be on Twitter. I'll have to read it and grin and bear it. But yeah, fingers crossed for a Reece James haul. He's done me well so far this year. God, I hope he does it again. He's been an absolute legend. Yeah, guys, I'm going to end the stream there. Got to head off, but hopefully you guys found it interesting. There'll be more content coming for the rest of the season. Apologies for the lack of stuff during the international break. I took the chance to have a bit of a break, but work was also just insane. So hopefully a few more things can come for the rest of the season. But yeah, this is my team for Game Week 31. Hopefully you guys have sorted out your transfers. Also a reminder that the if any time zone you're in has got, the clocks have changed. So the deadlines move forward an hour. So in Oz, the deadline's now at 9 o'clock when it used to be 10 o'clock. So just keep that in mind so you're not caught out by making any last minute transfers and then all of a sudden you find out that the game is locked out already. So good luck everyone for Game Week 31. Follow me on Twitter, see how I go throughout the game week. But yeah, Salah captain, Reece James haul, guaranteed. Robertson haul, Saka's going to get a goal. Rafinha's going to repay the faith as well. I have a good feeling for this game week, so inevitably it's not going to do well, isn't it? Give the stream a like as well on the way out if you did enjoy it. But catch you all later, and good luck for Game Week 31.